Let's see this question. We give this equation. The left-hand side, we have the variable x raised by itself. On the right-hand side, we have 2 raised by 3x plus 192. Well, 192 is 3 multiplied by 64. So then these two terms have a common factor of 3. So let's factor out the common factor of 3. Then we write as 2 raised by 3 times x plus 64. Now 2 raised by 3, that's 8. So we can write as 8 raised by x plus 64. Or we can split, we write as 8 raised by x multiplied by 8 raised by 64. So we always want to put the variables on one side. So let's divide it by 8 raised by x on both sides. Then we get x raised by x on the right-hand side divided by 8 raised by x equals to 8 raised by 64. Well, both raised by x, so we can write this as x divided by 8, then raised by x. So this 8, we can write as 64 divided by 8. Right, so 64 divided by 8, that's 8. Then raised by 64. Now, what's good about this? Now we see the patterns, the left-hand side and right-hand side be matched up with patterns. The denominator is 8, denominator is 8. Then the numerator is x, numerator is 64. Raised by x, raised by 64. So that tells us x equals to 64. If we go back to check, right, we get 64 raised by 64 on the left-hand side. Well, let's check the right-hand side. Right-hand side, 2 raised by 3 times 64 plus 192. Or 3 times, so 192 is 3 times 64. So that means this we can write as 2 raised by 3, because common factor is 3, right? Then raised by times 2 raised by 3 times 64, because this is a 64, that's 3 times 64. So 2 raised by 3 times 64 plus 64. Right, I have this 3 times 64, you have this 3 times 64. So 2 raised by 3, that's 8. So that's 8 raised by 64 times plus 64, that's 128. Or let's write as 2 times 64. Then 8 squared, 8 times 8, that's 64. So that can be written as 64 raised by 64. Bingo, exactly same as the left-hand side. Okay, that's it. That's for this question. X equals to 64.